This video has taken a little bit longer than I had planned to make and post because my household has been struck with a sick bug. But here it is, a little bit late. This is your guide to February and what you can expect from the astrological climate, what these alignments are going to mean for us over the next few weeks and in the run-up to Valentine's Day, and of course Valentine's Day itself. Now I should say and give you a little bit of a warning that Valentine's Day has got absolutely no astrological meaning whatsoever. What I will say about Valentine's Day is that I do not think that this is always about romantic love. I think that this is a really good and potent reminder for all of us to show ourselves the love and respect that we deserve from our own selves. So it's about being your own best friend. It's about being that voice to yourself that says, actually, you deserve to be treated a certain way. You deserve to feel good about yourself and you deserve all these nice things. You know, this Miley Cyrus's new song is absolutely on point for this. So go and buy yourself flowers. Astrologically this month, though, what do you need to be prepared for? Well, it starts off in a big way. So on the 5th of February, we have the full moon in Leo. You are going to feel the pressure building under this full moon up to the 5th is going to feel quite intense, and it's going to feel particularly intense for those signs that are going to be affected by this. Those are Leos and Cancerians primarily, but actually there are some other alignments going on around that same time which are going to hold very potent significance for the rest of us. We all feel the power of a full moon, and this full moon in Leo, we are going to feel like egos are getting boosted. There is going to be confidence, an air of confidence around, which is a great thing. You know, we should feel empowered under this full moon, and actually there is good reason to think that this full moon is going to enlighten us to see what we should feel confident in. Now, there is also potential for this full moon to throw a highlight onto a situation that is coming up to some intense drama. Leo typically represents pride, and our sense of pride is really important to the way that we carry ourselves. So when we feel sort of under attack or threatened in any way, you know, that's when we start to kind of go into a defensive mode. So that's going to highlight to us under this full moon any areas where we feel particularly kind of actually probably vulnerable and like we're overcompensating, and there is potential for some drama there. So it's just important to be mindful of it and step away from unnecessary drama. Never engage in drama under a full moon. Try your best to try and just put everything off for 24 hours if you can, because you tend to find that once it's come to a head and let itself out into the open, it's never as bad as it seems. So if you're feeling things building up to some powerful intensities and in the build-up coming up to the 5th, I would recommend just giving yourself 24 hours or so just to let things settle back down. So rather than engaging in drama, try and give yourself the generosity that you would like to show to other people, and show it to other people as well. This is about, you know, the good parts of Leo. So it's about showing that generous nature, and, you know, actually laughing things off is really, really important, and it can be exactly what you need. On the same day, we have got Venus and Mars forming a square. A square is asking us to resolve some tension between two different dynamics. So we have got Venus pulling us to Pisces. It's about feeling, it's about our emotions. And we have got Mars in Gemini, and that always wants us to act, and act quickly. It wants to resolve things with mind, intellect, communication, just saying it. And Venus probably has us feeling like we want to explore our emotional piece and, you know, find out what that means to us. And that's not always an easy thing to communicate. It's also not something that is particularly willing to compromise, with Mars pulling at it in Gemini. So Mars is pulling in Gemini, and it wants us to talk about things quickly and, you know, get things out and let's get moving, take action. And actually Venus is allowing ourselves to wallow in things and just move a little bit more slowly and see what happens through Pisces. So there is potential for some emotional tension under this full moon around the 5th, and that is not just going to be affecting sort of Leo and Cancer, who are going to feel the full moon more potently, but it's also going to impact Aries and Scorpio and Taurus and Libra, and of course you've also got Pisces and Gemini in the mix there. So the majority of the zodiac is going to feel this, and actually when these alignments are happening, even if it's not happening in our signs, we all have an element of every sign, every planet in our natal charts. So these things are going to hit us on a different way. I'm speaking generically here in terms of what this will feel like. But be prepared for this weekend to feel pretty intense for lots of reasons, and do your best to laugh things off if you can. Coming up to the 10th of February, we have got Mercury making a conjunction with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. This is a day for big news about the future, and it is about communicating that. This is potentially transformational. You know, this is about how things are going to transform in future. So be prepared for things coming out on that day, being communicated and hearing things on that day, which have got a big impact down the line for all of us. Potentially in the news this day, you could be looking out for things that are going to have a lasting impact on all of us. Now that's happening just before Mercury moves into Aquarius. So it's making that conjunction just on its way out of Capricorn as a kind of a, oh, and by the way, this. And it's going to be dropping a little bit of a bomb because that's what Pluto is. Just be aware of that for next week. Now moving on to Valentine's Day. Astrologically this year, Valentine's Day does have some pretty romantic alignments. The day after Valentine's Day, so the 15th, we have got Venus moving conjunct with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Actually, it doesn't get more romantic than that. So yes, that's happening on the 15th rather than the 14th, but we'll feel that energy. And it is a dreamy combination. That is about peace seeking and transcending through barriers, and it is about following dreams that are in your heart. If that's not a romantic celebration, I don't know what is. And actually on the 14th itself, we have got some movements of the moon which are looking really fortunate and lucky. The moon is in Sagittarius, which is a very, very lucky sign. As it moves through its day, it also makes another couple of really harmonious aspects. It's making a harmonious connection with Venus, and it's also connecting in a very fortunate way with Jupiter, which is the planet of luck, abundance, good fortune, and faith. So this Valentine's Day is a time for you to restore your faith in love. I feel like this is actually going to be a really special day. Come the 16th, we might be landing back on Earth with a little bit of a bump. So there's potential for things to hit us in the face, sort of smack us in the face with the reality of our situation. And that's because we have got the Sun moving conjunct with Saturn, and that is in the sign of Aquarius. Now, the good news is that it's going to be really encouraging for us to set our sights on something else, something that has got the potential for us to really reach. And it's going to sort of redirect us to somewhere better, somewhere more attainable, and something that actually might surprise us with how good it really is. This is about setting our sights on new heights, which have the potential for really coming true. On the 18th, the Sun moves into Pisces, and that is great news for Pisces because it's really going to give them a boost of energy. And actually, it's great news for all of us, for every single sign on the zodiac, because this is going to give us all a really lovely boost. When the Sun moves signs, it always sort of re-energizes us in a new direction, and it gives us the potential that that sign has to offer. So the Sun moving into Pisces is a really positive movement. It's a great transit. Now, just after that, on the 20th, we've got a new moon in Pisces. Not only that, but on the same day, we have also got Venus moving into Aries. So there is a huge potential for new beginnings in these transits. The creative energy in the air is likely to feel palpable, and there is real potential for very fertile ground for new beginnings. That could be things that you are doing creatively, creative projects, things at work. It might be starting something new. It could definitely be starting something new romantically. Venus in Aries is taking action. It is starting new things. So if anybody has ended up getting a little bit of a romantic boost on Valentine's Day, this is great energy for carrying that forwards and really blaze a trail into the future. This is hugely positive energy, and it's going to feel probably a little bit challenging Change always feels challenging, and this is definitely fertile ground for new changes, but it is positive, and this is all about transcendence. This is about following our dream. Things are going to be felt more deeply towards the end of February. That's on an emotional level, but it's also on a creative level. So you are going to probably feel really driven and, like you want to push yourself to do what you really have been dreaming of, which is ideal. Last thing I'm going to alert you to is there is another harmonious aspect between Mercury and Mars on the 22nd of February. This is a great time for you to communicate any of your bigger plans and action that you're going to take further down the line. It's also a great time for you to listen out to what's happening, be prepared to hear communication on that day. This is about planning for the long term. We should start seeing some of the things that we sort of felt through January's retrogrades coming to fruition from the end of February and actually feel like they are well within our reach.